How's it going, guys? We have another episode of WHOIS today, and today we have D1.
Yeah, come on, D1.
How you doing, man?
I'm chilling, bro. Thank you for the invitation. It's good to do this. I'm usually on this side of the table when I've run it, so it's good to be on this side, you know what I'm saying?
Good stuff. We'll just kind of jump straight into it. So, do you want to explain who you are, what it is that you do, and kind of that sort of thing?
Yeah, cool. Go by D1. I'm an audio engineer. I've been doing it for the past 4 years, and what I do is try to take people's ideas and turn them into kind of final product and turn projects into masterpieces. So yeah, that's my job. But even more in depth, what I'm really trying to do, just to get straight into this, is I'm trying to give Scotland a bit more recognition in the industry that we're in, which is the music industry for me. So that's really my goal, and we'll get into it later on how I'm trying to do it, but that's really my goal, like just to set the tone for today. That is what I'm trying to achieve for Scotland. So yeah. Good stuff. So obviously you're in the engineering side of things.
Yeah. What kind of got you into that? What's your first kind of projects that you did and that sort of thing?
Crazy story. So basically I used to be like a full-on nerd, right? Mm-hmm. Like, bro, I hit A stars, A pluses all the time in school. So I was a nerd, bro, like in school. So really, that comes from, obviously I'm Albanian, so I've got foreign background, meaning like doctor, lawyer, all that stuff. That was the expectations for me. But yeah, so I was really good in school, and then I was going to be a software engineer. Right. So I was really good at programming, like JavaScript, C++. That was the road I was going to go down. So went to Glasgow Uni, bro, which was like a proud achievement for the family, because I was the first one in the family to even hit uni like that. So yeah, went to Glasgow Uni, and COVID hit in my second year of university, bro. And I'm talking like, we went from like this to like I was on a Zoom call the next day with a mask on, like fully changed, like the whole dynamic changed of what my life was going to be. Yeah. So we went to like this kind of like online only, whatever. And bro, I just struggled, bro. Like I just completely just knocked myself out of the education game. I was like, yeah, nah, I'm not enjoying it. I felt like, bro, the world was going to end or something, bro, when COVID came around, I'll be real. So I was just like, bro, like what's going on? Anyway, so then at that point, bro, we're in COVID, and literally, bro, obviously my group of friends were like, bro, it's COVID. What can we do right now? Like we can't go out. We can't go do this. We can't do that. And so we were like going on Google trying to find out what we could do during COVID that wasn't like against the rules or whatever. Yeah. And we found out Pirate Studios was open during COVID.
It was still like open to just kind of...
Yeah, like you could go into Pirate Studios. The reason why, because they were finessing the system, because Pirate was like a self-catering music studio. Similar to how this is. So therefore during COVID they could stay open because there was no need for like a person to be present. Do you get me? So cool. So then a couple of my boys like rap, like quote unquote rap, as in they don't, but they just wanted to like have fun. So we'd book Pirate like for the whole night, and basically, bro, like we couldn't all be rappers in it. So basically somebody was like, well, somebody's gonna have to record and mix these stuff we're doing. Yeah. So I've always been that type of guy to like be like, try something new or just take like a challenge and within me, be like, let me be good at something. So I was like, cool, yeah, I'll go learn it. Went on YouTube, started diving into what this whole audio engineering was, and then you just fell in love with what the process was, and here I am now in it.
Yeah, just rest is history, really, yeah. So, like, what were the first kind of things that you were doing, like, after you did it with your friends? Did you, like, help some people, or, like, did they see the work that you done with your boys and think, oh, let me see what he's up?
So, luckily, bro, this is why this is great for me, because I'm opening up that I'm saying things that people don't even know about. Luckily, bro, my dad's always been behind me with, like, my whole life. One, because he's got high expectations. One, he wants to make sure I don't f*** up in it. Secondly, it's because he wants to just make sure that like I'm making the right moves and whatever. But so he's when I first started doing engineering, I was like, cool, well, I want to make money from this. I went straight to him in it, because he's always been business minded, and he's always he's been able to pull out ideas from stuff. I never know how he thinks of stuff. So I was like, Dad, like I'm trying to make money from this thing, and he was like, well, do you think you're good at it? And I was like, yep. He goes, does anyone else do this? At the time, like, I don't think so. Yeah. He goes, cool. He goes, just start doing it for free for people. And if the work's good enough, word of mouth will go around and people will start coming back to you and pay you for it because they need the service done. Yeah. So that's how I started, bro, I just hit up anybody and everybody I could, being like, I'm an engineer. Can I just mix some stuff for you for free? And then, yeah, bro, I had like a small group of clientele, you know, making a couple £100, whatever, like here and there. And then when I hit the bingo, bro, was that YSK and 001s hit me up, being like, they had heard, again, that's why word of mouth is so sick, they'd heard from they were like, I think he'll tell you better one day if he can, but he was at like a party and he'd asked this girl who's Albanian, who we know is like a family friend, if they'd known any engineers, and she'd said, yeah, go over to this guy called D1. So started working with them, bro, and yeah, that's where like it just started popping. Yeah. So we met obviously Trigger and YSK, and we just started developing a vision of how we could like become this big, like, you know, them as artists, me as an engineer. And then from there, bro, I've just like, at that point it gets blurry in terms of like, I've just been doing me. Yeah. Like, I've just been on my journey. But yeah, that's kind of the initial stage of how I got into it, just word of mouth, to be honest, bro. So
you said it got blurry, but like, when was did you hit a certain point where you were like, this is taking off well more than like you could even have imagined? Like past a certain point?
Yeah, good question, actually. So, I think so. But so here's part of the story now that's going to become interesting. Although my dad was behind it all, there was like a good year and a half where I was not making enough money for my dad to be sufficed for me to keep doing what I was doing.
Right.
So for my dad, it was like I was trying to prove to him, my mum as well, she can go in the conversation as well. So mum and dad, right, I was trying to prove to them that like, cool, like what I'm doing, let me stick at it because it's working for me. And for them, bro, I don't know kind of if the room here will get it, but it was, I had to go show them money in it, like money's been made. I'm handling myself, you get me? Especially with foreign parents, their analogy or their ideology is like, we've came here from another country, like you've got a chance at this opportunity, don't up in it, don't become jobless bums, you get me? Like, we've came all the way here. So for me, it was like, right, cool, I need to like show them that I'm making something, right? Yeah. So the first, I think that the point of me kind of being like, yeah, like I've done something, is going to my dad. And general concept in this whole podcast, I'd like to mention kind of money too much, but so we'll keep it kind of generic. But went to my dad and just like put like X amount of money in his hand, and he was like, what's this? I was like, it's all from engineering. And it was like enough, it was enough for him to maybe do XYZ thing and finish XYZ solution, whatever. So it was this amount of money, and he turned around to me and I could see in his face, like, he's never satisfied. Like, even in school, he'd be like, yeah, I used to get like 95% in like tests, but yeah, no, I want 100 though.
5%.
Yeah. But I seen in his face that he was properly impressed. Yeah. And yeah, from that point on, not only did he become just behind, he actually got involved financially. Right. Became like my financial advisor throughout the whole process, because he's seen that, okay, he's on to something here, like he's clearly making money. But really, bro, the point for me that kind of went, right, cool, like I've done it, is just the fact that like that life pays for my life. Like it just it lets me be able to do a lot of things. We'll get to it hopefully later on, but I've opened up a studio through that. I don't know if my wife will like me to mention this, but I brought my wife over here, you know, and it's like paying for visas through this type of like job, car, house. Like I've just been, the word for me, I say this to Sanathi, because obviously Sanathi is quite close to me now that he works in the studio with me. Bro, it's the fact that I achieved financial stability and financial freedom through this thing. So that's really the point where I was like, cool, like this is working.
That's interesting you say that, because I think even myself, coming from obviously a similar background to yourself, like foreign parents, obviously they've given up a lot, sacrificed a lot to come, let's say, to the UK or US or whatever, to give us some of these opportunities. So in their head, they're seeing some guy pointing a camera at things and thinking, surely you're not making serious bread from that. And or like, even like to yourself, you know what I mean? Like,
he's like, bro, my mom's meant to be a lawyer now. What's he pointing this camera at my face? Do you get me?
Yeah.
It's just 100%. That analogy. Not that they're wrong or they're right. It's just, that's where they come from, innit? So,
that's how they picture it. So, it's interesting. So we'll just jump into your studio. So how did that process start, and like, why did you go for a studio, like, let's say here as opposed to elsewhere and that sort of
thing? So, as I said to you before we started, I'm going to just keep it real. Yeah. So, studio started because I was meant to, so anyways, I was in my back garden, bro, at this point. we've got like a little kind of like extension / like shed. Yeah. And again, because my dad got so involved, he switched his garage into a studio for me. So that studio was fully financed by him. And one thing that I want to tell people is I never want to just be like, yeah, like man came from nothing. I'll be honest, like my dad's helped me quite a lot and gave me maybe that initial boost. I'm not afraid to say I don't care. Like that's just been the cards that I got dealt, was that he was able to help me at the start. So he opened the studio for me in terms of he financed it all for me. I had to pay him back, obviously, but like he's not that nice. But he started off, like, he gave me this loan, so to speak, no interest, no, pay it off when you can, but you're paying it off. Do you know what I'm saying? So anyways, so I was in the studio, bro, working out of that studio, and again, I had met a certain individual at pitch, right? And basically, he was saying to me, you know, we're opening the studio, and you know we need an engineer, and so sorry, he just found out that I was the engineer for 001s,
right, okay.
And he was amazed by the work because he'd felt like it was something that was coming from down south. Now this was a producer that was established at the time, done very big things. So when he was saying this to me, also I was getting gassed that somebody who had kind of achieved that side of the thing was giving me my flowers. So he was like, yeah, and so he just found out that I was an engineer for 001s, and he was like, bro, we need you in the studio we're building. So he sold me this dream of, like, obviously the studio that we're going to build and how it was all going to work. Long story short, it completely just failed all expectations, and they've opened it, but like I don't even know what they're up to. But anyways, long story short, they me over big time. So and I told everybody I was opening a studio, bro. So I told them March, and it was like last week of February. And bro, when I put like stuff out there on my social media, people expect it of me. Like they're very, my followers are very expectational, if that's even a word. They're very surrounding around, you've told us this, you have to do this type stuff. So it was the last week of February, bro. So I just went like full on, just like trying to find a place, get it built, and have it running and operating in 10 days. I had 10 days, bro. So found the place that I liked, you know, whatever. Got it all done in 10 days, like everything, bro. Like this place was like to shit, bro. I had to get, you know, flooring, walls all done. And I opened it, bro. And and I started off initially, bro, just me. And after a while, bro, I was thinking bigger, bro. I was like, cool, like, I want to go and integrate myself into London or whatever it is. And I was like, I can't do it if I'm just going to constantly be in the studio, for a lack of a better word, just focusing on Scotland. I need to start to just elevate myself a little bit. So I started thinking of an idea where I could get other engineers / producers involved, where they can be passionate being in the studio, and at the same time, I can have an operational business. So that's where I kind of switched the light or flicked the switch, and I was like, cool, let me create a business model here where I can have people come in, have a fully functional and funded studio for a fraction of the price that they might need to go and put elsewhere to get this sort of, you know, room available. And in return, they get clientele, they build their name, they build their reputation, and I'm behind them in terms of I've co-signed these individuals to say these guys are the next guys that are going to run the scene up here. And obviously Sanathi, who just recently joined us, I've got Ryan as well, who's a producer, engineer, and then another boy called Dean. And the profile of all three individuals, bro, and I'll say something of Sanathi, is I picked three individuals that, in my opinion, I'd not had a clue who they were. And that was one of the profiles they had to meet. If I'd heard of you, I was not going to consider you for the role. Secondly, they just had to be, you know, feet to the ground and just a very humble attitude inside, because we'll get to it later, but that's something that is key to success, bro, is you need to be very humble and down to earth, and you just need to be a nice person, bro, like, so that's something I was looking for as well. And thirdly, bro, talented. You need to be talented at what you do, whatever your craft is. So I've got obviously the three boys in, and we're very chemistry, we're very chemistry orientated. We like to be like a one big family, and we're all going towards this one vision of, you know, for me, I want the studio to be like the main HQ for up and coming talent, and for the boys, I want them to be, hopefully they can look at me, bro, and be like, well, I want to do what he's done, so I'm going to go stick at it in here, and I'm going to go push myself. So that's the vibe, bro, that's the goal for me. And for me, bro, again, I've told them straight, it's not as if it's a charity in there. Obviously, I want to be able to have profit come out the studio and make my money out the studio, but at the same time, they've got my full backing in terms of what they want to do. So that's what the studio is, bro. Studio's operational recording studio for up and coming / established artists in Scotland, bro. So that's what the studio is, yeah.
Can I just interject quickly? I just want to say, first of all, thank you. And if you go to the studio, like, the one thing I liked about your space is the quality of equipment and how convenient it is just to get in there. Like, just getting there, like, it's in town. Like, it's so easy to get to. There's so many ways to get into that place. Yeah. Coming up there, seeing the equipment, like, it's not like Pirate Studios. Bro, this place, you've got some crazy stuff in there. And I was surprised when I first walked in, and I was like, this is what I get to use as a, you know, like a beginner engineer, beginner man. Like, you don't get this kind of equipment anywhere else for the price you get it for. Yeah, so I'm like, he's really putting me on. Like, this is like a young man's, like, this is something I dreamed of having when I first started, and I'm getting it for a good price, and I'm getting for someone who's in the position I want to be in eventually. It's crazy. So yeah,
I didn't pay to say that, right? First and foremost. Just to add to that, bro, like, I again, not to get into the ins and outs of the business, because, like, you know what I'm saying, but he's right, bro. Yeah. The way I set up the business model, they pay like a very small fraction of what it's cost me to get this up and running. Yeah. But that just needs to show you, and this is going to be the premise that you'll learn about me throughout this whole podcast. I'm not here for the money. I'm never going to be here for the money. Therefore, I'm not going to run you for money. Do you know what I'm saying? So the way I've run it is just, you know, it's like, don't mind about money. Just do very good work here. Build your reputation. Don't worry about the rest. I'll figure it out. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, like Sanathi says, like, only very recently, and again, not to get the ins and outs, but only very recently have I started to make profit from the studio. Yeah. Meaning, we've been open for like a year. It's been 12 months of me just like putting more money into the business to just make sure it runs. And then at a point we started breaking even, and now just very recently we've started making little bits of profit. Now again, that profit goes straight back to them, by the way, and Sanathi will know because he knows how the business model works. But so even though I'm stuck to make profit, first idea from me is make sure it goes back to them, bro, because they're the bread and butter of how this studio's going to work. If they're not happy, if they're not going to feel motivated in the studio, scrap the whole studio. There's no point. I don't need the money. I need to make sure they are working, motivated, and they see a vision and they feel like they can get to it. So that's the main thing for me. But I obviously appreciate Sanathi giving his output into it as well.
So we'll kind of pivot a little bit here. So you mentioned the 3 criteria that you had for them. So you were saying that, like, this is something that you need for success. Would you be able to talk a bit more on that? Like, the idea.
100%, bro. So, bro, ever since, and this is maybe getting a bit personal, but there was a time and place, and I speak to my wife a lot about this because she's seen the change. There's a point in my life, bro, and again, I don't mind saying this, bro. Although I come from foreign backgrounds, and my mum and dad were from Albania, XYZ, my dad worked very hard. That by the time I was age 10, like, I lived a good life, bro. I'm not even going to cap and say to you, like, life was tough and all that. I was born in Govan Hill, you know, and that's something, whatever it is, take that for what you will. But I've had a very good life, very good upbringing. My mum and dad have made sure that I've never struggled for anything. So I don't want to give you the cliche story of, you know, a man came from nothing and I lived a very good life, do you know what I'm saying? And so all the way up to like age 17, 18, bro, I was very like, just lazy, bro. I'll be so real. In terms of, like, I wasn't on no hustle. Everything was getting paid for me, do you know what I'm trying to say? And something just flipped inside me that went, bro, like, I was like, bro, what the f- am I doing? Like, I'm so jobless right now, do you know what I'm trying to say? And it was my dad that said this to me, and obviously I'm quite close with him, bro. I was saying to him, like, you know, he's always said to me, don't worry, like, you'll always be okay in terms of financially. You don't need to go and work a 9 to 5 and stuff like that. But there was something flipped inside me, bro, that just made me realise, like, about generational wealth and how that comes about. And I started reading more. I started reading a lot more books about business and financial advice, and I just started wanting to understand how life works. Yeah. How do you become rich, or how do you go and make something work? So I started being a lot more involved in that type of thing. So something flipped inside me, bro, and I just started hustling, bro. And that's why I am where I am today, where analyze a lot of things about life, and to me, bro, I feel like I know the keys to success, and it's this, bro, for me anyways, is no matter what position I'm at financially, I want to make sure I'm as humble as I can be. I want to be able to sit with any social class and be able to have a conversation and not you feel like I'm out of touch because maybe I've got something that you don't have.
Yeah.
Humble, bro. I say humble because money changes people, bro. Like, and I've seen it, and I make sure, bro, that like no matter where I get to in life, that, you know, I can give back and I can just be humble enough. And thirdly, bro, you have to be good at what you do. Whatever it is you do, you need to be good at what you do, or else you know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, those for me are definitely the three keys for success, and it's something I've learned kind of.
I like that you said that, because I feel like lately I've been kind of on a similar trajectory in the sense that, like, I think coming out of uni, I was kind of just like, oh, past 15 years of my life been education, so what now?
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, let's just play the game, just kind of see, like, read up some books, see how I figure out, like, how can I quote unquote make, or like just better myself in any way possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think I kind of came across similar realization that's like, if I want to make something of myself, I got to be good at what I do first of all.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was one of the first things I was like, first and foremost, I want to be so good that nobody can ever down my talent. Yeah. Like, I want to get to a point where it's like,
I feel that that's hard.
I'm doing so much that, like, even if you don't like me, you can still say that, nah, you know what, though, he's good at what he does, regardless.
You want somebody to hate your guts and still book you for a video, because who else is he going to go to?
Just send a pissed off,
that's the level you want to be at.
Yeah. Like, we'll have to do it. And even I think as well, like, just staying true to yourself, and just like, even kind of how you said, like, money changes people, and unfortunately, if you're I don't want to say bad person, but like, if you do kind of questionable things, that money is just going to make you do more questionable things
100%,
with money.
100%.
So it's like, just try to stay humble. Try and just be yourself, be nice to people, and just kind of reciprocate the energy that people give you.
Bro, what I said to you at the start, right? And this is why sometimes, but I tell people I'm 22, and they look at me like, where the f*** have you got?
When I heard you were 22, I was baffled.
I was baffled as well. I was like, what? Sure.
Not that I don't like to flex, but sometimes I need to pat my own fucking back here. Bro, this is just because, bro, 75% of my life is like, I'm surrounded with like 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
There's a reason I chill around with older people than me, outside of whatever. And it's with people who are successful, run their own business, and have got some life experience. That's who I chill with.
Yeah.
Meaning all I'm getting fed into my head is all this knowledge. So that's why another thing I would say to you guys is try to get as much knowledge from other people as you can.
Yeah.
Because you can learn something from anybody in this room right now, bro. We've all got our own little canvas that we've painted that you can go look at and be like, wow, that's sick, like what they've done. Yeah. Or cool, so my man's done this in his life. Do you get me? So and social media and / technology for us, to be honest, because, you know, you walk into city centre, everybody's got their head down on their phone or whatever, AirPods in, everybody's so disconnected. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's made it harder for you to do that. That's why any chance that I can get anyways, no matter who I'm with, I'm trying to learn something from everybody in the room. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, that's another thing as well, bro.
I guess it's like, especially as creators, like, what we do is very people involved. So it's like, you can't really be a creative and then almost just then say, I'm not going to chat to, I'm not going to try and learn new things or try and experience new things, like you're saying. So no, 100%. So when I first reached out to you to jump on the podcast, it was to do with something that you put up on your story. So I just wanted to, obviously you said you'd happy to chat about a bit more about that, so you go to get into that.
So basically, right, I had posted a piece of work that I was involved with. Yeah. And again, the reason I do that, bro, is to be able to just checkpoint myself. But secondly, bro, my followers, a lot of them are people who you know, want to see what I'm up to. Yeah. Thirdly, they want to know, or they just follow me because they want to see kind of like how to do what they do. So first things first, I just wanted to just make it clear that I didn't post it to be like, yeah, look what I'm working with. Yeah. I just post stuff because like it's good for me to checkpoint myself or let XYZ person see what I'm up to, and maybe that inspires them to go and, do you know what I'm saying? That's cool. Do you get me? That's why I do it. But yeah, so I posted this piece of work that I'd done, and a producer, again, I don't know him too well, so I just know him by, I think his name's Ian Robertson or something like that. And so he's a producer that I don't even know how we follow each other. I don't even know how we've got into contact. But yeah, he's a producer named Ian. Ian his name is. And he messaged me, bro, and he was like, so so I posted a screenshot of like the settings of when I was exporting the file.
Yeah.
And he'd messaged me being like, oh bro, like why are you exporting a final version as MP3? Now, when that DM came in, obviously I was kind of like befuddled as to like where that's came from, because I thought it was quite weird energy to come into a DM with me with. And so I just replied back and said, yo bro, it is a final version, but I've sent it as an MP3 so I can listen to it in the car, because as anybody will know if you use Gmail, anything over like 8 megabits file size,
just completely.
It doesn't let you open it, and you can't load it up quickly. It makes you go to Google Drive, XYZ. So I export final versions of MP3s to listen to as me in the car, and speakers and AirPods just quickly.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'll send that MP3 off to an artist to do the same thing. Yo bro, play this quickly on speakers that you've got or whatever right now. Give me first impressions, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And it's more so just in terms of leveling, because at a final version, I've done all the changes, just leveling is everything sounding nice and loud to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I said to him, I was like, oh bro, I've just done it because it's just so I can listen to it. And for me, at that point, I'm telling you that like, this is the wrong path we're going down. Like, you're asking me the wrong question right now.
Yeah.
So you'd think that he would maybe U-turn the and try and pretend as if like that's not why he messaged and put a positive spin on it. And then he comes back and says, yeah, but it should be at like this kilohertz export rate and all this stuff. And I just looked at the DM. I was with my wife in the car, right? And I'm just like, bro, all you had to say was like, big up on the work.
Yeah, or just say even, fair enough.
Like,
that was
go tell your boy that like D1's not exporting things properly. That's fine if I don't need to know that. But to come to me and tell me that like something's not getting exported correctly, and it was my wife that deeped it. She was like, you know, he's had to like pure like zoom into the picture to like see what the export setting is to say that to you.
Yeah.
I didn't deep it. I didn't clock that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Actually, he did. And it just gave me like hater vibes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I put the story up and I done it to be like, first of all, like, just to let him know. I think, because not that I'm on this whole like cancel culture by the way, but it's just more so it gives my point of view more importance, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm real like that, bro. Like, I'll go do that. Not that I want to like laugh at you, but it's like, you've obviously made the decision to put the DM now through. Yeah. I can now put this online, you know what I'm saying? It's social media.
It's free to do that.
Yeah. But I really I've done it to really just prove the point of like, that's the type of people that exist. And they're very close to me, and I don't like that. I don't like that type of energy was that close to me type stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm very big on positive energies, and like I don't like to chill with people who give off negative energies like that. And it made me realise how close to those negative energies I am, that I didn't deep it like that. Yeah. He follows me, I follow him. That's how close he was to be able to say that. Be able to say stuff like that. So yeah. And then off the back of that, bro, like I had so much support, and like thank you to everybody, because it was a risky move, bro. You know what I'm saying? People could have, you know, presented that to themselves as look at D1 being a dick and trying to expose my man or whatever it is. But I got so much support of people being like, bro, this is why I follow you. This is why like I respect you outside of your work, because you're just real. And it made me realise, bro, that like I was scared to do stuff like that previously, because, as I said, social media has become this very scary place where you can't really be yourself, or you know, you need to be a certain way that ticks the boxes so that you're fun and entertaining, and people can be arsed, you know, seeing what you're doing. So really recently, bro, I've just started being me. This is who I am. Like I just say what needs to be said, because I feel like the world would spin better, if you know the analogy. If everybody was like that, the world would just kind of the world would feel better if everybody was like that. So yeah, done that. Obviously came back and apologised, and obviously was like, that's not what I meant. But in my opinion, bro, like, you know, that's the way I took it. So you know, you know, you need to just kind of watch what you say sometimes. But yeah, that's where that's all came from, is just that kind of interaction.
So then on the back end of that, you then started getting into like Scotland and England and like kind of the things you've seen having worked in both places. So would you be able to talk a bit more about like what's been your experience in terms of things that you've noticed between the scene up here and down south, like both pros and cons of each scene and that sort of thing, I guess?
Hard to find pros at the minute, but I think the issue, bro, and to be honest, bro, if there was pros, I'll be the first one to wave the flag and, you know what I'm saying, like say that there's pros, but it's bro, up here it's very volatile, the scene in general, because, bro, there's no infrastructure first and foremost, right? So when there's no infrastructure, right, I like to use analogies, so you're going to have a bunch of D1 analogies that you'll go write in your notepad after you watch this video. My analogy for the scene, bro, is like, you know when like you go buy your table from IKEA, right? And you've not followed the instructions properly, right? Bro, that bitch is going to fall. At one point or another, because you've not put in the screws properly, whatever it is, you've not spun the table the way it's meant to be spun, it's going to break at the first instance because there's no backing bone that's going to keep that in place. That's the Scotland scene for me right now. There's no infrastructure. And that comes down to, bro, there's no funding, right? Or should I say, again, another thing that I'm very big on, and people or organisations and people part of those organisations don't like me for this. And my man might know what I'm talking about. Zay might know what I'm talking about. Bro, the funding that is available goes to the wrong places.
Right.
And it goes to the wrong things. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's it. Lack of funding and lack of direction towards the funding that is available.
Yeah.
Secondly, bro, I'll be so honest. Like, this is why in the studio, I've told them as well, the boys that are there, I'm very big on quality because, bro, see the scene up here? Bro, there are so many people who are dog who have got yes men around them and make them feel like they're some hot rapper.
Hey.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
100.
And because you got my man gassing him 24/7, if I go burst his bubble, like it's chaos.
They're thinking, who are you to tell me what to do?
Yeah, they're like, bro, I'm actually really hard, you know, and I'm like, bro, like, it's not, bro, I don't know who's been telling you, but, and because their circle is so bad, where it's all just yes men. That's the second problem. I always try to put stuff in 3 points, but I think it's just 2 points.
Just do 2 points, yeah.
But the difference in London, bro, and this is what I'll get to, is obviously I've started to be able to get my name out in London. And that's been through obviously the work that I've got through Warner and Sony now, who I'm quite involved with. Down there, bro, it's different, right?
Yeah.
Firstly, brilliant funding, meaning, and I'm talking funding even mean like London's changed my financial level into something mad, bro, already. And I've only since the start of this year have I started getting like projects from down south, and I'm starting to become more prominent down there. So in the span of 4 or 5 months, different gravy down there, bro, the money that gets spun around. But secondly, bro, that obviously needs to come from, there must be funding. Yeah. There must be money that is then being able to be able to trickle down to me, who's the engineer. So there must be funding. That's different. Secondly, bro, see if you're not up to scratch there in London, you get faded out next working day, bro. Amazon Prime, you're no longer relevant. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And people might disagree with that there's such a big pressure on being, innovative all the time, but that's the standard you set yourself to, bro. Do you know what I mean? So, and I mean that in the sense of, bro, you're in a big pond with a ton of big fish. You need to make your name out there somehow, some way. You need to be top of your game at all times, or else you get faded out. I.e., like, we've seen like Notes just completely fall off, or Rams, or just off the top of my head, I'm just thinking of how they were like big at one point, and you don't stay up to scratch, you get faded out. You know what I'm trying to say? Recently as well, I just had an inquiry in for a song with Young T and Bugsy, right? Who, when I heard the inquiry come in, I was like, oh yeah, what am my man's even up to? Yeah, they just had a tune with Heady One like 2-3 years ago, whatever it was, and I've never heard them since. So it's just mad how the world works down in London. You're in and out of the game very quickly. So yeah, that's the problem up here, bro. And I'm trying to change it. Yeah, but there's people with more power than me at the minute that do not want to let me influence the decisions therefore I've been like, well, cool, well then I'm gonna have to just let you man do what you want to do and get all up then if that's the case. So and that's something that like me and Zayn have spoke about very, very like concretely. Sometimes it's like the wrong people have got power up here. Like it's like the wrong presidents in power type shit. So till that changes, bro, I'm just focused on getting the right people the exposure that they deserve and getting the right people the attention they deserve. But Scotland as a whole, bro, I'm kind of like Scotland right now, to be honest, until I get given a lot more recognition and respect, and that comes from the bottom up. So the bottom up being that interaction I had with that person,
like things like that
needs to be different. Firstly, secondly, I need a bit more influence because as you can see, bro, I've got only good and only the right intentions. If I can just get a bit more influence, but every time I sit down with the people with power, it's like I get put to the side because this is what I'm saying to them and they must not like what I'm saying.
They're not really
they must want to push the rappers because they get more money. I don't know what it is, but their intentions are so different, doesn't align with me or theirs don't align with mine, therefore I'm never really put into these rooms. So I've just said, safe, say no more. Then I go down London, I get shown mad love, that's what I'm saying in my post, is that every time I go London, I get so much respect from these guys who are much bigger artists, much bigger A&R managers, or they're just much bigger than everybody here. So I can't get respect from the people here who I need to get respect from. But when I'm in London, it's love times 100. So that's a problem, bro. It's like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like I've been adopted down there and given like more love by my adopted family than the family that I've actually come from. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So
no, 100.
That's it.
It's actually funny you say that because P, remember in P's episode, he was saying, you know, obviously if you're not up to scratch down in London, there's like, he'd be in a room, 7 of them can spit, but maybe not all of them are good at rapping. Whereas up here, you can shine, but for most people, what I've realised in the scene as well is for the people that don't, you know, go to sessions regularly or, you know, they're not out at every single motive, if they're talented, they're not gonna be shown at all. They might do one gig and that's them done. And
no, the problem is, bro, you can be mediocre in Scotland and you're okay. You can make it being mediocre.
That's what I'm saying.
And then, as Sanathi says, I work with some people who maybe have less recognition than the mediocre guys do, but they're so talented, but they don't get the recognition. It just does not make it. It's so dysfunctional. But yeah, it's what Sanathi's saying, bro. It's like, London's different, bro. You need to be 10
I feel like the only con up here now is like you can be a bigger fish in a smaller pond, but it's harder.
The pro, you mean?
The pro, yeah. You can be a bigger fish in a smaller pond, but it's harder for you to be recognized as the big fish. Like you.
So
yeah,
that's
actually a brilliant point.
It's hard for you to be recognized as a big fish.
That's something that's a good point, yeah.
Because too many people that are subpar are getting all the opportunities. They're the ones getting all the funding. They're the ones getting all the love from, like, you see them getting posted everywhere because they made a song. Let me
dissect that a little bit more. I'm going to maybe alter what you're saying, but agree with the concept. No, do you know what the issue is as well, bro? Is you can be... No, some people are content with being a big fish in a small pond, i.e. being big here, and that's it. And therefore, they put themselves in boxes, i.e. the Scotland box, and they're happy with that. And then, as he says, them man get all the opportunity. Do you get me? Whereas for me, bro, somebody that puts themselves in a box and is content with just being a big fish in a small pond, you cannot be the face of the scene. The face of the scene, in my opinion, needs to be the man that have done it here and have done it down south and done it globally. I.e. your Lewis Capaldi's, your Calvin Harris's,
the big Scottish name.
That's the face of the Scotland music scene. Because they've not put themselves in a box here, they've done it globally, bro. But our people look up to some man that have done it up here and that's it. For me, bro, you have not made it just because you're big up here. It's very easy to be big up here.
So that kind of brings me to because I want to touch on this podcast specifically as well. So a lot of people are kind of surprised when I say that I'm planning on leaving Glasgow and just Scotland in general. And they always seem to be like, why would you want to leave? And I was like, well, like you're similar to how you're saying.
Yeah.
This was never the end goal for me. Like I'm appreciative of everything I've done here, and I'm grateful for the opportunities. But the way I see myself being in the future is well beyond anything that I've ever seen anyone in Scotland do as of right now. maybe there's people doing it, I don't know, but I've not seen any, or I've not seen enough people to justify staying here.
Yeah.
And even like you said, when I have been to London, Manchester and stuff to do work, I've been like, whoa, the stuff that these guys are doing is completely different level. Like even the people who are like, let's say like bottom 25% are still classified here, probably like the top 5%. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then I'm seeing that, I'm just kind of like first and foremost, MBG is a business. As much as, even if I love doing stuff here, up here and all that sort of stuff, it's going to get to a certain point where it's like, I've got to scale the business. I've got
Yeah, you hit a ceiling up here.
Exactly. I've got to build the business. So I'm not going to be able to build that business off of like produce are like X type of person with X type of budget and that sort of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So I totally agree with what you guys are saying on that.
And just another thing, just because you said that, is like, for me, bro, I said this in that story as well of why, because people said this to me, bro, like, you're not as active in Scotland anymore. Like, bro, you used to be a lot more involved, and now it's like people say, oh, you're going all big time London, and it's like, yeah, but bro, how am I meant to inspire my guy by just being big here? Do you get me?
Yeah, like
how am I meant to inspire him to think outside of here if I've not done it outside of here? Do you get me? That's going to limit his vision. Not that my achievements will limit how far he thinks, but I'm the closest.
His proximity of.
He can touch me in terms of like, cool, he's done it. He's right next to me. He's done it. Cool. Yeah. So I'm trying to inspire them to be like, don't just do it in Scotland. Do it in the UK. Do it globally, bro. Yeah. That's it. So how can I inspire the next generation? Because, bro, I'll be honest, I had no inspiration when I was doing engineering up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what Scottish engineer has done it big? Do you get me?
Yeah.
So I've had to find inspiration within myself and within other avenues, but I'd love to, for the next set of engineers or producers, to be able to have a direct link that they can say, this guy's done it, so he inspires me to keep going because I can do it.
Yeah.
Triple Ones were a driving force for the artists to get inspired because they've done it. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And so hopefully artists get inspired that you can be from Glasgow and do it down south.
Yeah.
But as an engineer, I've still not finished off the mission, but we're on that kind of wavelength, and I want to be able to, hopefully become a big name in the UK and be like, yeah, cool, so you man could do it, so, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, 100%.
So on that kind of topic actually, so what do you see as like the end goal, or maybe not the end goal, but like, let's say like next 5-10 years, like what are your sort of top things that you kind of want to be taking off the list?
This is going to sound mad, and either you get it or you don't, and I say that in the sense of like either you're tapped into life, like you're clocked into life, or you're not. Like I've got plans to retire at 30. Like that's how I think. And one thing that I want to do is I'll tell you my plan is I want to become the main kind of name for engineering down south.
Right.
But this is why like I need to try and kind of, because I believe in like I'm Muslim, right?
Yeah.
We believe in like evil eye, and it's when you tell your plans before you've done them and then they don't happen because people give negative energy towards what you're trying to do and trying to stick you off the rail.
Yeah.
But to keep it generic, plan is, bro, to try and become big and down south.
Yeah.
But at the minute, stuff's popping from me back home in the Albania music scene, which is 10 times bigger than what the UK scene is.
Yeah.
So right now, bro, I'm kind of running both and going, whatever one starts to gain acceleration before the other one, I'm going to jump on that shit type stuff.
Yeah.
So right now I'm focused on both, bro. I'm doing a lot of work down south. I'm doing a lot of work back in the Albanian music scene. And I'm just keeping myself relevant in both scenes, just seeing which one's going to start to pull away type stuff.
Right.
And then grab that one by the tail and, do you know what I'm saying, go for it. Yeah, but that's the plan, bro, yeah, for the next 2-3 years. 5-10 years is to retire, as I said, but yeah, that's my next kind of imminent plan is what I'm trying to do.
Would you ever see yourself like kind of just moving forward to full-time to Albania, kind of focusing on music there, if it was to kick off?
Where are you from, bro?
Malawi.
Would you move to Malawi?
Yeah, fair play.
I love Albania, but nah.
Not quite the place. Nah,
bro,
fair
I'd get chucked in the bin, mate. You know what I'm saying? Like, because bro, them man in Albania are like I think I'm street smart.
Yeah.
Them guys are street smart.
Right. Okay.
So I'd get spun around, stuck in the bin the next day type. Like
Right.
they're clocked on. So no, I love Albania and like I go there all the time. But to move there, bro, is a mad decision. But bro, planes exist.
Yeah.
So it'd be like flying all the time, which is what I do right now. Is just I'm there and I'm in and out. But nah, it'd be hard for me to move there, bro. And to be honest, I wouldn't even move to London potentially, bro.
Yeah.
Like I actually love Glasgow. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I love the city, and I've built myself within the city. Obviously, my wife lives with me now here as well. So that's the thing. Don't think that like I'm just saying I wouldn't move to. I don't know if I'd move. Period. Just because for me, bro, like I've got a house here. My family are here. I've got multiple businesses that I run in Glasgow. For me to move, I lose a lot more than I gain.
Right.
So my plan is just to be active enough within these two scenes, London and Albania, that I don't need to move, and I can still do my work and not have to move. I can just be in there, do my work, come back, or or obviously engineering I can do it remotely or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't think I'd need to move. Might be different for you. Maybe you need to move to do what you need to do, but with the engineering, I don't need to move.
Yeah.
But we never know. But I don't think I would move, bro. Nah.
So I think even for me, like, so me moving, I think, kind of similar to what you said, like, the job that I do, I physically have to be there to do it, you know what I'm saying? So it's not even something that I can be like, unless I was outsourcing, but even then you start getting to the whole thing of like, how does that look if I'm getting someone else to film stuff under 7PG, but then it looks rubbish or something, for example.
Got you.
So all that sort of stuff. So, that's fair enough. That makes sense. You said you had like a quick fire thing on Instagram, wasn't it? You still want to jump on that?
I did get asked questions. First question I got asked was, what are some creative techniques you add to a mix to make the track sound unique? So for me, that's quite a good question. So for me, my whole thing, bro, with me of how I try to split myself is in two elements when I'm as an engineer. Is I try to mix within a sound that when you hear the sound you think, yep, D1's defo's done this one.
Right.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Which is hard because engineering is so they interlink. Maybe same with video production. You can only get so creative with video production. Do you get what I'm saying? Like there is like a limit to what you can really
like
do.
Someone's probably done something.
It's kind of like when you're making a beat.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound maybe somewhat similar to another beat because it's hard for you to make a totally fresh beat. So for me with mixing, bro, is to try and create like a signature sound and or kind of like, you know, workflow that is personal to me.
Right.
Second thing, bro, and this is why I've had so much success here, London and obviously in Albania, is seeing sessions, bro. I don't know if Shanati's experienced them, but I work very disciplined, meaning like the way I record you, the way I want stuff to come out, the way I get you to lay a track out, and then the way that I mix is very disciplined. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I've got a set way of how I like to mix. So that's what separates me. And it's like in the session, like I make sure that people understand that I care about this song just as much, if not more than you do.
Right.
And that's what people appreciate. And I'm very harsh on people when they come in, regardless of how big you are. Like if I don't think the take's right, I'm saying it again. So I think that's the two main things, is the type of sound I give out in terms of my mix and how I work with artists.
Yeah.
I'm very good at developing relationships. I'm very good at kind of building or breaking the ice with you or developing a relationship with you that, as you kind of said, bro, even if the motherfucker hates me because the work is so good, he's going to come and take me and book me out for a work because the work is so good. But I doubt nobody would ever hate me, bro. I'm very like sociable, but that's the vibe of like the work needs to be that good that like they can only come to me. Somebody asked who's the best newcomer in Scotland. Not that they come to the studio, but I'm gonna keep it to someone that does work with me at the minute. There's two people actually, right? So there's a boy right now called Tino that's just kind of made headway, or whatever the word is, just really started working with me. And I think the vision that he's got behind these songs and what he's trying to do and the gap he's trying to fill, I think he could make big moves. Another boy who we've worked and then he's kind of went on like a little bit of a, not a hiatus, but we haven't seen each other for a little bit, but he has worked with me. Faraz,
Oh yeah,
from
Flash,
Aberdeen.
yeah.
Bro, that boy is like crazy. Like,
He's locked in, man. Nah, he's
we've
locked in.
done 2 songs so far, and that guy is like crazy. Not gonna lie, like I think that guy could do some, like, he's like a G-Hus regen. This guy, so I think he's one. But then it's newcomer, right? So I need to think about somebody who's not been in the scene for too long. Okay. Anybody else that I think that comes to do that with? There is actually, no, there's one more, bro, because he deserves these flowers and he's not got them yet. There's a boy I'm working with very closely, right? I've posted a couple of his tunes. His name's Toronto, right? He's a white boy from Dundee, and he does like kind of like this R&B kind of vibe, right? Weekend type stuff.
Yeah.
But bro, he is like crazy good at like melodics, and basically his plan is he's gonna work with me for 12 months and not release anything, just work with me for 12 months, let me build him up, and then he's gonna kind of come into the scene. But see, when this guy starts releasing, bro, like if this guy doesn't get snapped up by a label within, you know, I don't know, like 6 to 12 months after he starts releasing, I don't know, like he's very special, bro, so this guy as well. But low key, because he's a newcomer as well. Yeah. Not that just he's with me or whatever, but this is one of the reasons that I had him close to me. Bro, Sanafi's a very hard artist as well in terms of the vibe that he's going for. Like, I really rated it, and when he came to me for the interview stage for like who I was gonna pick to start working with us, just because of that kind of gave it the edge for me that, you know, he's also a very sick artist, and the fact he's multi-talented like this. So I think if Sanafi just, and there's no need for me to tell him this because he knows, because I know he's very locked in, but see if he just hones into his music, and if he just starts to kind of tick some of the boxes that you need to tick as an artist, I think Sanafi can do a lot of good stuff as well.
Oh, I didn't pay him to say that this time.
No, it's going to be heavy, that's what I'm saying.
He did pay me, but it's okay. Right, next question. This one's a bit of I've been asked this before. It's probably a quick answer. Have you ever considered running your own music label later down the line? I would, but there's a lot of money involved, and man, don't have the money to run music labels right now. And to be honest, if you are gonna, I'm the type of guy, see, if I do something, either I do it right and it gets done properly, or I don't do it. In my opinion, sorry if I'm gonna offend somebody who's opened up a music label, don't open up music labels if the P's are not there and there's no sort of like team around you. Yeah. In my opinion, bro, like, see when people try to like open up record labels, or like, you know, they try to do something that without money and a team, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Like, see, small time record labels, there's no need for them to exist, because other record labels fill the gaps of what they're trying to fill. So until I don't think I ever will open a record label, bro, because it's not something that interests me. But yeah, I don't think I will. This one's a weird one. What's your morning routine?
The people want to know, man.
Yeah, morning routine, right? Okay. I'm Albanian, so like the combination for us is like a cigarette and an espresso, right? So if there's one thing you learn today, is that like Albanians love a cigarette and an espresso. So that's like my morning combination. But morning routine, bro, is so I run a business outside of the studio that gets run kind of before I go to studio, or out with the studio stuff. So morning routine is up early to the office, in there till about, when does up sessions, like 6, innit? Yeah. And there till about like maybe like 5, 6 o'clock. Yeah. And then from there I'm in the studio most times, if not just home. But yeah, just hustling, bro, to be honest. Like, my morning routine is I just think money all the time, bro. The reason I'm so money centric is because, bro, for me, money is what, like, I say this to my friends as well. It's like, you know, don't get me wrong, family and everything else comes, but, and I get that people always say money can buy happiness. I don't know, if you've got time, you've got 4 minutes, right? Yeah. But money buys you freedom, right? The only reason why I didn't come and land here in a helicopter is because I don't have the money for it. Do you get me? that's the analogy I go by. Yeah. If I could, I'd land a helicopter on that road and jump out with my private security guard. You would, my man would, everybody would. Do you get me? So money is just what like facilitates life. Do you get me? It's how, do you get me? And bro, the whole you only live once. I want to have a good life. I'm Muslim, and we're meant to kind of also put a lot of focus on the life after this one.
Yeah.
And I do. It's good to prepare yourself for the next life as well. But unless I want to have a good life, do you get me? I want to be able to just live it out. So money is what makes that happen. So morning routine is just I'm always trying to think of a way to make money. But yeah, that was the kind of questions I picked out, to be honest.
I like how you said that as well, because I feel like
I could do a whole nother episode on if does money buy happiness.
yeah, because we always say like it doesn't buy happiness, and you're right, it won't buy happiness.
No, so bro, like a new car might not like solve your depression.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But like we have a saying in Albanian, and I'm gonna try and put it in English. But you'd rather cry in a Mercedes, right, than
Like a bang.
be happy in like in a Golf. What? Yeah, analogy is, bro. You'd rather be sad in a nice Mercedes than maybe be happy and not be able to drive a car or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And I think stuff like that is kind of what I go by. But your happiness is key, bro. Do you get me?
Yeah.
I said this to my wife as well. I want to be happy and rich.
Yeah.
Like, who says we can't be both? What? All of a sudden we're getting to choose. Do you want to be happy or rich? Like, no, I want to be both. Do you get me? So the goal for me is both. But yeah, I think we could break down a whole nother episode if it was to do with does money buy happiness, man.
Well, I think that's probably a good place to wrap up anyway. But it's been good to have a chat with yourself about different things.
Thank you.
Appreciate you for
Hopefully
coming
this
on.
has been entertaining enough for everybody. But for me, this is just to give out knowledge. You get me? This is what I like to do these stuff for. But yeah, support Prince and 7PG because I think this is sick what he's doing. Support Sanathi as well because if he blows up as an artist, then I'm gonna get my 20% out of his contract.
100%. And the bill that you
I don't have 20%. So yeah, just support everyone, man. Just support kind of everything that people are doing, and give this love because this is what my man's gonna need to keep this running, and it's a great thing that he's doing. So please run this up and just give him the support he needs. But yeah, hopefully it's been good, man.
Thank you, man. And we'll call it a day there.